بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. كلية الإمام الكاظم، أقسام الديوانية، قسم اللغة الإنجليزية، المرحلة الثالثة، تدريسي سان محمد حسين البدري. Today we are going to talk about chapter number 6, which is titled Morphology. Okay, of course, you students, third stage students, you are familiar with this subject. You have studied this subject in the second stage, so you are very familiar with the terminologies and the terms that we are going to talk about. When we say morphology, what does it mean, morphology? So we have to know the definition of morphology. Simply, morphology means the study of what? Okay, so it deals with the structure and the function of a word. This is what? This is morphology. Morphology and linguistics, of course. Okay, so morphology in linguistics, it means what? It means the study of what? The structure and function of what? In the previous chapter, we talked about phoneme, with phonemes, with sounds, with letters, system of sounds. Okay, because we are dealing with phonology, but here something bigger. So with morphology, with the word. Here we have some examples you can read to get some benefit. This is morphology here, and this is the study of forms. Was originally used in biology. Now this term is used in biology, morphology in biology. That's why I said morphology in linguistics, because it's still in biology. It is used in biology, this term. You can check it if you want to read more about it. So it's simple. We know that the definition of morphology, it is the study of word, and we are dealing with morphemes. The same thing with phonology, phonemes, morphology, morphemes. And you know morphemes. You have studied morphemes. What is morpheme? This is the definition of morpheme. It is what? It is a minimal unit of meaning of grammatical function. Okay. And you remember that we have 3 criteria for a morpheme. It is a word or part of word that has meaning. This is morpheme. Should be a word or a part of word that has meaning. We have sentence that police reopened the investigation. When we come to the word reopened, reopened, how many morphemes do we have in this word? Consists of 3 morphemes. Re, 1, open, this is second, and ed, third. Which one is the root? Of course, open. One minimal unit of meaning is open. Another minimal unit of meaning is re. What does it mean, re? It means again. And a minimal unit of grammatical function, which is ed, indicating past tense. We will talk about this. The word tourists also contains 3. There is one minimal unit of a meaning, tour. Then we have ist. What does it mean, ist? It means what? Person who does something. And s, which is functional, grammatical function, indicating plural. Okay, this is morpheme. This is simply morpheme. So we have the definition of morphology and the definition of morpheme. We have 2 types of morpheme here: free morphemes and bound morphemes. Okay, what is the difference between free morphemes and bound morphemes? Free morphemes, from its name, it's free. It means that morphemes that can stand by themselves. Okay, as single word or words, they can stand by themselves. They can stand alone. They can stand alone. Meaningful. They are meaningful. They can stand alone. For example, open, play, read, write, sleep, walk, try, eat. All these verbs are what? Free morphemes, can stand alone. This is one. Number two, bound morphemes, which are those forms that cannot normally stand alone. They cannot. Okay, so bound morphemes cannot stand alone. They what? They should be. They should be attached. They should be added to another word. Okay, they should be added to form and to another form. Okay, it should be added to another word or to another form. Like what? Rest, ed, s. Alone cannot stand alone. S alone meaningless. These are what? These morphemes. Still they are morphemes, but they are meaningless. When do they come meaningful? When they are attached, when they are added to another forms, to another words. مثلا open free morpheme. But re, re is what? Alone meaningless. Put it with open, reopen. So, okay, good. Can stand with other word, but alone cannot stand. These forms were described in chapter 5 as affixes. Yes. We talked about them. If you remember, affixes and we can say that all affixes, prefixes and suffixes, remember this, in English are bound morphemes. All of them are bound morphemes. Es at the beginning, es at the end, or s at the end, or at the beginning, re, I am. Okay, impossible, possible, impossible. For example, virus, antivirus. The free forms can generally be identified as a set of separate words such as basic nouns, adjectives, verbs. These are free morphemes. When they are used with bound morphemes attached the basic word forms, they are called stems. Okay, stems or roots, جذر يعني stems أصلية. Here we have some words, un, unaddressed. This word unaddressed. If we want to know, if we want to divide it, this word divide it. Un what? Prefix, bound, dress, stem, free, ed, suffix, bound. Carelessness. Okay, care, stem, free. Less, suffix, bound. Ness, suffix, bound. Okay, I think it is easy. This word is easy. These stems. Okay. Lexical and functional morphemes. Let's see what is the difference between lexical and functional morphemes. What we have described as the free morphemes fall into two categories. The first category is that a set of ordinary nouns, adjectives, and verbs that we think of as the words that carry the content of the message we convey. So these free morphemes are called lexical morphemes. From its name, lexical, when we say lexical, it has meaning. So what is lexical morphemes? Lexical morphemes, it means lexical morphemes mean what? Or refer to set of ordinary nouns, group of ordinary nouns, adjectives, verbs, okay, that carry the content of messages, that carry the meaning, the content of the messages we convey to people when we speak with other people. Like, for example, lexical morpheme, girl, man, house, nouns, verbs. You know nouns, you know verbs, you know the adjectives. All of them are what? Lexical morphemes. Girl, man, house, tiger, sad, long, yellow, sincere, open, look, follow, break, See, all these are what? Lexical morphemes. We can add new lexical morphemes to the language rather easily, so they are treated as an open class of words. Another name for them, you can say they are open class of words. Open class items or open class of words. You see, we can add new lexical morphemes. Remember to language. Remember the question I have asked you, whether language is changing. Okay, so of course language is changing. Okay, new words are daily being added to dictionary. Many words, many new words are added. Many new words come with a new meaning. Some words disappear. Some words are added. Okay, some words are changing. Some words have new connotations, new meaning. So this is open class of words. Other types of free morphemes, functional. From its name, functional. They just have functional job. They don't have meaning, not similar to lexical, just functional. From its name, they are what? They are and, but, when, because, on, near, above, in, that, there, it, them, etc. This set consists largely of the functional words in the language, such as conjunctions, حرف الجر أو حرف الربط, prepositions, okay, in, at, on, articles a and the, and pronouns he, she, they. Because we almost never add a new functional. We don't add a new functional. They are what? Not dynamic. Stated. We never add a new functional morphemes to the language. What is the difference? What is the difference between functional morphemes and lexical morphemes? Lexical morphemes, we can add. Here we cannot add. Lexical morphemes, verbs, nouns, adjectives. Okay. Functional morphemes, conjunctions, prepositions, articles, pronouns. They are close class of words, but lexical items are open class. Why we call it closed? Because it is closed. Cannot add. You see, very easy. This is the difference between lexical and functional morphemes. Here also we have another difference between derivational and inflectional morphemes. Derivational and inflectional morphemes. The set of affixes that make up the category of bound morphemes can be divided then. So bound morphemes can be divided into two types. One explained here in chapter 5, derivation. These are the derivational morphemes. Derivational and inflectional. Derivational and inflectional. In Arabic derivational يعني اشتقاق. Inflectional يعني تصريف من اسمه. So derivational morphemes, we use these bound morphemes from its name. What are the difference or the differences between them? The characteristics, or what are the characteristics of derivational morphemes or inflectional morphemes, or what is the difference? Very important. We use these bound morphemes to make new words. This is the derivational morpheme. Or to make words of different grammatical category from the stem. You see here? So derivational morphemes, we use morphemes to make new words when we want to make new words. Or we make words of different grammatical category. For example, we change from noun to what? To verb, from verb to adjective, from verb to noun. See? For example, the addition of the derivational morpheme n or ness changes the adjective goodness. See, change, here we have. They change the part of speech. This is the characteristic. You can write the note or nose. So change the derivational morpheme, change the class or change the part of speech from noun to verb, from verb to adjective. For example, the adjective good, we can add ness to be what? Goodness. the noun care can become adjectives like careful or careless by adding full or ness. Okay, these are derivational morphemes, full or ness. A list of derivational morphemes will include suffix such as ish, full, foolish. You see, quick, adjective, quickly, adverb, change, etc. So here derivational morphemes, what they change the part of speech from, for example, noun to verb, from verb to adjective. Okay, they don't, you can write this, they don't close off the word, they don't close, they don't close off the word. It means, what does it mean they don't close off the word? It means we can add more. For example, مثلا careful, care, we have care, we can add full, and we can add carefulness, carelessness. You see, we can add. Second of bound morphemes, inflectional morphemes. These are not used to produce new words in language. Not used. First one, they are used to produce new words, but rather to indicate, just indicate. Just indicate aspects of grammatical function of a word. This is very important. You see, they just indicate. This is past tense. When you add ed, this is past. S as a plural, as third person singular. Okay. Er adjective, comparative. You see here. So just they indicate aspect of the grammatical function of a word. Inflectional morphemes are used to show if a word is plural or singular. You see, if it is past or not, and if it is comparative or possessive. We have, in addition to that, مضافة ذلك إنه they close off a word. هناك قلنا they don't close off, here they close off. For example, when we have the word play, put s, close, does it close it or not? Kid, play, plays. ماكو ما يصير blazoning we add another ing. No. So they close off word. We have 8 inflection. You know, you are familiar with them. For example, here as possessive, as plural, as est, okay, en, er. You see here, third person, or here we have third person singular. As here we have ed past. Here we have what? Past participle. Here we have explanation. You can read it. You see? Morphological description. Yes, this is very important. The difference between derivational and inflectional morpheme is worth emphasizing. Inflectional morpheme never changes. This is another difference. See? قلنا احنا هذا نفسه. Never changes the grammatical category of word. Never changes. For example, old, older. No change. No change in part of speech or grammatical category. Old, older. Still adjective. Old and older are what? Both of them are adjective. Here, okay? The ER inflectional here. Inflectional. شرح عليه هذا مو مهم. However, a derivational morpheme can, but هذا فرق. But derivational morpheme change the grammatical category. يعني واحد تقدر تخليها من فرق comparison. For example, the verb teach خلي له ER صار teach verb. Teacher صار noun. You see here the same idea. نفس الفكرة جاية تنعاد. But the focus here in this section, this paragraph, the focus here er, here old, older. Er changes or not? No change. But here er changes. So what is the difference between this er and this er? What do you think? Huh? What do you think? Good. Er here is what? Is inflectional. Does not change. But here what? It is derivational. It changes from verb to noun. From you teach, teacher, a person who teaches. A person who teaches here. So the suffix er in modern English can be inflectional as a part of an adjective and also derivational morpheme as a part of noun. Just because they look the same er doesn't mean they do the same kind of work, you see. مو نفس kind of work. نفس الشغل يعني. They are called homophones. Homophones, sorry. Homophony. They are homophones. It is homophony. يعني متشابهات similar. er nominal folk اللي هي adjective combined. The same here er. See, can add s تتميز بيناتهم يعني can teach teacher teachers but old older olders we can't. Armed with all these terms for different types of morphemes, we can now take the synthesis of English apart and list all the elements. For example, in the sentence, look at this sentence, very important. The child's wildness shocked the teachers. أعطيك جمل هيك بالامتحان sentences وأقول لك identify morphemes. فديش is what? Functional. Child. Lexical. Okay. S here is inflectional. Wild. Lexical. Ness. Derivational. Lexical اللي هي shock. Shock. Lexical. ed. Flexional. The. Functional. Teach. Lexical. er. Derivational. s. Flexional. You see? Simply, على الخلاصة مرتين, morphemes free or bound. Free. Lexical. Functional. Lexical. Child. Teach. Functional. And the. Bound. Derivational. Flexional. Derivational. re. n. Oneness. Inflectional. s. Possessive or ed. Okay, it's very clear this when you read all the above, you can read this. This is summary, the gist. Yes, that's enough. I think that's enough. No. The problems not important. The problems we will talk about this. Yes, morphemes and animals. This is important. Yes. Morphs and allomorphs. The same like phones and allophones. The same thing. Phones and allophones. Morphs and allomorphs. Allomorphs. Okay. One way to treat differences in inflectional morphemes is by proposing variation in morphological realization rules. In order to do this, we draw an analogy with the process already noted in phonology, the same, chapter 4, the same idea. Just as we treated phones as this is the definition. Now I'm repeating. What is phones? Phones, the actual phonetic realization of phonemes. Okay. One of the students asked me, what is the difference between phones and allomorphs? Here the same idea. Phones, allomorphs, morphs, and allomorphs. So phones, the actual phonetic realization of phonemes. So we can propose morphs. Phones, morphs. Phones, morphs. The same. Now actual phonetic realization. Now what? The actual forms used to realize morphemes. Okay. This is the definition of morphs. For example, The form cats consists of two morphs. Cat plus what? Plus s. Cat plus s. Two morphs. Realizing a lexical morpheme and inflectional morpheme. Cat is what? Lexical. S is what? Inflectional. Okay, plural. The forms passes. Pass plus es. Pass. Realizing a lexical morpheme and inflectional morpheme. Plural هو es. So there are at least different morphs. Different morphs. You see? Two different morphs. S and es. Actual se and is. While cas and passes. Okay? يعني plural. لكن المورphs two different morphs. So two different morphs used to realize the inflectional morpheme. Plural. The same thing, just as we noted that there were allophones, monoco-allophones of particular phoneme, so we can recognize the existing of allomorph of a particular morpheme. The same, only just change this, okay? Phoneme, morpheme. يعني شنو؟ That is when we find a group of different morphs, all versions of one phoneme, morpheme, all versions of one morpheme. We can use the prefix allo. شنو يعني allo? What means set, related set, and describe them of allomorphs of that morpheme. Okay, so the same here, the same as with allomorphs. ناخذ example. Take the morpheme plural. Know that it can be attached to number of lexical morphemes to produce structures like cat قلناها خلينا s صارت s. باس خليها باسز صارت is. then two morphs كلهن اس بلورال كلهن مورفين بلورال كله بلورال هو اس بلورال but مرة طلع عندنا اس مرة عندنا is also plural sheep plural ما بي هي plural sheep يسموه النوع شو يسموه هسه راح اقول لك شو يسموه man irregular هاي here شوف you see in this example the actual forms of the morphs that result from the morpheme plural كلهم مين كلهم plural all of them are morpheme plural but they are all different okay shown different yet they are all allomorphs of one form morpheme they are all allomorphs of one morpheme يا هو one morpheme اللي هو plural اس plural okay plural morpheme or morpheme plural the morpheme plural they are all allomorph different realization in addition to say and is two has one say and is another allomorph of plural English seems to be zero or zero morph zero or zero sheep here is what zero ثلاثة صارت 3 because the plural form of sheep is actually sheep zero this is a symbol for zero okay when we look at man plural we have vowel change in what irregular plural form and then it gets on in 4 allomorphs for one morpheme this is what this is allomorphs then this is allomorphs when we have a set of realization of morpheme there are four different okay realization four different realization of the same morpheme the morpheme شنو هو the same هو plural طلعنا من عنده 4 is zero and irregular okay. Another example here we have with the past tense for example walked ed. Go, went, irregular. So more than one, two. Another languages, we will not talk about this. If you have any question, thank you so much. If you have any question, you can add, you can ask. You can add any note if you want, and you can ask any question if you like.